It's Saqib Uddin in the Hatton gym in Manchester, and with me have the main man himself, Ricky the Hitman Hatton. How you doing, Ricky?
Yeah, great, can't complain.
Well, Ricky, this Saturday your heavyweight prospect Nathan Gorman has his 14th professional fight, all at the age of 22. But what have you made of the progression of Nathan Gorman in the professional ranks so far, considering that he's only had 12 amateur fights?
Yeah, brilliant. You know, it's well known now how highly I speak of Nathan and how far I think he can go. Every fight he keeps improving, keeps getting stronger. I mean, that's shown that with his last 5 fights have ended in knockout, especially with his toughest test last time against Sean Turner. He really looked $1 million with that. And he's moved on from there since. I think this is the best training camp he's been, this is the best, sharpest he's been. So it's a good chance for him to go and make a fan base out there in London now. You know, he's been boxing locally in Nantwich and Leicester and Stoke and here, there and everywhere, but it's nice for him to go to the capital and show the London fight fans what he's all about, yeah.
Well, I understand it's still very early in his career, but how far do you think Gorman can go in boxing?
Right to the very top. Right to the very top. It's a bit of a big statement, and there's still boxes for him to tick, which was not just the case for Nathan. That was the case for me, for Nassim Ahmed, Joe Kawasaki, Kell Brook. You know, you've got to prove your chin, you've got to prove your stamina, you've got to prove your boxing brain. You've got to tick all them boxes, yeah. And there's a few more he's got to tick. But I mean, from what I'm seeing in the gym, when them challenges do come along, he will tick them boxes. But it's all a gradual process. You know what I mean? He's having quality sparring in the gym with fighters that are a couple of levels above him now, and he's improving. He's doing more than hold his own. So yeah, very, very excited really. Don't want to get too excited because everything's got to be kept in check a little bit with him. But no, yeah, I think he's got a great future, and I think he'll be where Joshua is and Tyson Fury and British heavyweights like that have done us proud. I think he's the next one in the conveyor belt.
Well, every time Gorman fights, the Daniel Dubois fight always gets mentioned, and vice versa with Daniel Dubois. And there's a fight that won't stop being mentioned until it happens. But as Gorman's trainer, when would you like to see that fight happen?
I'm not bothered. He can have it next week for me. If it comes forward for an English title, we'll have it. I don't think Daniel, and it not being disrespected to Daniel and his camp, he is a good boxer. He's shown improvement in his last fight against Charles, former heavyweight world title challenger. But I honestly believe I've got the better man. I don't think Frank shares the same enthusiasm, but I can't do any more. Nathan's improving like he's improving. I think he's got the strength. I think he's got the power. I think he's got the speed. I think he's got the close quarter game. I think he's got the distance game. I think he's got the boxing brain. He's improving like nothing. So I think I've got the better man. So I don't mind having it for an English title. I think Frank would rather have it further down the line for something bigger. I'm not bothered. I'd rather have it now because I've got confidence in my lad. Nathan's done a number of rounds with Daniel over the years in the GB squad, and from the feedback he's told me on how them spars went and how I see Nathan's going, we'll have it tomorrow. But I mean, it is brilliant that you've got Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury and people like that, and we've got the conveyor belt of like people like Nathan and Daniel Dubois to step into their shoes. It's a great time. It's a really, really rich time for British heavyweight boxing, yeah.
Well, on December 1st, we see one of the biggest fights in boxing this year. Tyson Fury goes up against WBC world champion in Deontay Wilder. What's your take on that fight, and how do you see it planning out?
It's brilliant. I admire Tyson for what he's been through and where he is. He's had a few demons and a few mental health problems, and he's lost about 8.5 stone in weight, which is absolutely incredible. And he's fighting for the WBC title against Deontay Wilder, which is incredible. I think I've been reading, that they've been trying to make the Anthony Joshua fight for about 2 years now, and it's not really happened. And I think one thing you've got to, I'm a Joshua fan, being British and English and patriotic. I'm a Joshua fan, but I'm always going to be a bit biased to Tyson, being a Mancunian and my friend. But in the 2 years where they've been trying to negotiate a fight for Anthony Joshua, Tyson's fought all these demons. He's lost 8.5 stone in weight, 2 warm-up fights, and the fight's made. You know what I mean? While not Anthony himself personally, but while they've been trying to make the Joshua fight, and I think that's you've got to, you know, there's only one person you take your hat off to, that's Tyson Fury for doing that.
Close friends of Tyson and seeing him train at the gym, are you surprised on how quickly he's taken the Wilder fight given the layoff and the calibre of opponents he's faced in his 2 comeback fights?
Yeah, I mean, he got 10 rounds, which was the main thing, I think, in his last fight. I think he looked really, really good in doing it. The quality of sparring he's got, I think he needed just to shake the cobwebs off and, you know, get the confidence. He's had a lot of problems, demons to face. The first one was just getting that first one out of the way, really. And he won't be the first to admit he didn't perform too great. But he performed great in the last one. He got the rounds out, and now his confidence is up. He's shaking off the cobwebs. I think he'll be better. But I think while Tyson is knuckling down and dedicated and living the life and on the straight and narrow, as they say, I think now's the best time to do it. To be honest with you, Tyson's, maybe he could have done with another warm-up fight, another couple of warm-up fights. But look, you've got to look at the machine you're dealing with in Tyson Fury, isn't he? He doesn't. He was like myself when I made my comeback. I didn't want 2 or 3 warm-up fights against people that I could blow over. You know what I mean? Once you've had a couple of warm-up fights, you want to get back in there. So I picked a dangerous opponent, and he's right in there against Wilder, and that's the champion in him. That's what he's all about.
Well, Deontay Wilder is a fighter that's very rangy and has an awkward style and possesses one of the most powerful hands in boxing with his 39 knockouts out of 40 fights. But from your perspective, Ricky, as a trainer, how do you feel Tyson should match up stylistically to Deontay Wilder? Seeing Tyson in and out of the gym, give me an insight of what we can expect from Tyson Fury on December the 1st.
Well, to be honest with you, I think bit by bit in the build-up, they've been all over the United States and the UK doing like a press tour, and you can see the carry-ons, what Tyson's up to and that. I think by the time fight night comes, I think Deontay Wilder's head would have fell clean off his shoulders with having to deal with Tyson, left, right and centre. But I just think, Tyson's been down a few times and he's always got back up. But I think if Wilder catches him with that straight right hand, I've got a feeling Tyson might not get up. Having said that though, if you're asking for me where we're going to leave my last pound on it, everything Deontay does, really, technically he's not that great. He makes real fundamental mistakes in getting that big right hand in. And the thing is, does he need a little bit more technique in order to get it in against someone like Tyson Fury? I think he probably does. Because Tyson is, someone like, look at the Klitschko fight, somebody like a well-schooled, masterful boxer like Vitaly Klitschko couldn't even lay a glove on him. Really struggled against Tyson Fury. So technically wise, Deontay Wilder's nowhere near technically as good as a Vladimir Klitschko. If Klitschko couldn't get it in, how was Wilder going to get it in? But the danger point for us and for Tyson is if he does get it in, because it is it's career-ending power he possesses. But I personally just don't think he's going to get it in. I mean, what I've seen with Tyson in the gym and how he is, I think. Don't forget Tyson. His 2 comeback fights has not been against the absolute world beaters. But he raises his game when he has a challenge, you know what I mean? With the Klitschko game, he slipped a couple of gears, didn't he? And I think he'll do the same with Wilder.
Well, I look at yourself and Tyson, you both experienced a very similar path as you both fought at the highest level and reached the pinnacle of the sport and also suffered the dark side with mental health. But do you feel like having them similarities almost grown your friendship?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I used to see Tyson knocking about in Manchester, and he used to be saying to me, I'll start next week, I'll start getting my weight off next week, and then next week I'd see him again and he'd say, next week I'll start getting my weight off again, and I didn't share his enthusiasm. I wanted to believe him, but I didn't, and he's proved me wrong, and he's proved me wrong big style, and it makes me so proud, because I've been through that bad side, and it's very hard to come out the other end, but I did do it. And knowing how hard it was for me, for him to do the same, my respect has gone up for him even further than what I had for him in the first place. But and it's those things that make you a stronger person. When you can come back from that, you're not worried who steps in that ring against you. What you don't realise is Tyson's self-belief in himself. Some of the stuff he says, I'm the greatest, one of the greatest of all time. He believes that, and that's what Wilder's up against. Somebody with that belief. It's hard to beat.
Well, as I mentioned, from someone like yourself that's experienced mental health within boxing, what kind of personality do you think it takes to shed over 10 stone of weight, have 2 comeback fights, and now face one of the best in the heavyweight division whilst overcoming his demons?
Yeah, well, there's 100% confidence in yourself. Confidence in yourself. I mean, they said he couldn't go to, they said he couldn't go to Germany to beat Klitschko. He did. They said he'd never get his weight off. He did. They said he'd never come back. He did. And while people weren't believing him, and then even in his first comeback fight, they said, "Oh, that wasn't the best performance. You're not going to come back. You know, it's all talk." Oh, it's not. Los Angeles, Deontay Wilder fight. You know what I mean? It's 2 unbeaten heavyweights. Former lineal heavyweight champion of the world, unbeaten, against the current unbeaten champion of the world. You know, for all his talking and all his talk, he's never not backed it up. And you've got to respect him for that.
What's it been like having someone of Tyson's calibre training at this gym, and how much of an influence has he shed on the likes of Nathan Gorman, Jake Hague, and other prospects in this gym?
Yeah, it's great. Just, you know, seeing this, you know, the belief he has, you know, he come in someday. Very rarely does he have a bad day, but I mean, he come in one day, you know, and he wasn't right on top form, you know, he did 6 rounds and they said, right, let's give it a miss now. He went, no, we've got to get it out, and it's that drive, determination that he has that has been good for my lads to see from a distance, and they've seen him physically shrink over the several months, and seeing him with the discipline now, he knuckles down to it and stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot to not take from Tyson, and there's a lot to not take from me, how you balloon up in weight and how you live your life and stuff like that. But ultimately, when he's knuckling down to it like Tyson's doing, there's so much you can take from that.
Well, the past couple of days there have been a lot of talk surrounding Floyd Mayweather coming back into boxing to face UFC lightweight world champion Khabib in the ring, which could potentially be his second boxing fight against a UFC fighter. What's your take on that, Ricky?
A load of crap, I think, to be honest with you. I mean, making a mockery of the sport, to be honest with you. I mean, it's only wasn't long ago we were saying there was too many belts and too many weight divisions. Now we've got too many belts, too many weight divisions, catch weight, catch sports. God, they'll be fighting fucking tennis players soon. It's not just what happened to the average having, you know, you're the best in the world, you know, that's one belt, that's the best in the world, you fight for them. You know, it's just, you know, I don't know. I mean, that could be how he beat Conor McGregor and everything like that, you know, and he's made a big name for himself. So it's like, I think the entertainment value is outshone in what the main priority in the sport is to prove you're the best boxer in the world. But nowadays, if it sells tickets, people will watch it, and it just upsets me at times.
Well, Floyd Mayweather has also been linked with a rematch with Manny Pacquiao. Some people believe that the first fight happened a bit too late, and the fight itself didn't quite live up to expectations. But what's your take on it happening at this stage of their careers, Ricky?
I think it'd be a better fight than the last one. It can't be much worse. But Manny said he went into the fight with an injury, which was very, very disappointing. When people had paid the money that they did, I think they deserved to at least know whether he had an injury. And I think Manny was made to do certain tests, wasn't he, in order to do that. And I think since the Mayweather fight, you know, he was knocking everybody out, and then all of a sudden you know, he got beat by Floyd, and then he won on points, then he got beat by Horn, but now he knocked the last kid out. I can't think of it. He looked like he's got his strength back a little bit. Now I think it left him a little bit, but he seems to have come into his own a little bit again. So will be a good fight. You know, at the end of the day, Manny Pacquiao is still one of the best pound for pound in the world. You know what I mean? I'd rather see Manny fight Floyd than, you know, the UFC lads. But yeah, we'll see.
Well, your good friend Amir Khan, who's also been linked with a big fight with Manny Pacquiao, but with the Mayweather fight on the radar for Pacquiao, has recently stated that he's willing to face a long-awaited British battle with Kell Brook at 147 with a £10 rehydration clause for early next year. What's your thoughts on that potential fight, Ricky?
Yeah, good fight. It's a fight that they're at similar stages of your career, so even though it didn't happen when they were in the prime, they're both at similar stages of the career, so it'll it will be a good fight. I don't know what the dehydration clause is. Maybe they can't put any more than £10 on. I think it's probably what they mean, which is the IBF rule, to be honest with you. So yeah, it's British fat champions fighters. You want to see them. You want to see domestic fights, don't you? It's a fight we want to see for years ago, but I think it'd still be a good fight because they're both at similar stages of the career.
Well, one obstacle with that fight was agreeing a weight, as Kell Brook is currently at light middleweight and has had one fight 154 against Rabchenko, one fight 160 against Gennady Golovkin. But Kell has agreed to go down to 147. But from someone like yourself that's had to cut a significant amount of weight in fights, what's your take on Kell Brook coming down to 147 to face Amir Khan?
Well, he must have agreed. You know, Kell comes from a very good camp in the Ingle camp. I don't think he'd agreed to come down to 147 if he didn't think he could do it correctly. And I think, you know, providing he gives it enough time in order to do it and do it correctly, I don't see him having a problem.
Well, we've recently seen Amir have 2 comeback fights with victories over Phil Greco in Liverpool and Samuel Vargas in Birmingham. But what have you made of Amir Khan since his defeat to Canelo Alvarez?
I think, you know, he's had a couple of heavy knockout defeats, you know, none more so against Alvarez. So I think one thing is just getting that confidence back, you know, and he's looked better. He looked all right in his first performance. His next fight was even better again. So he's got that confidence and springing his step back now. So that's what it's all about, you know, after a couple of heavy knockout defeats, you know, he needs to get rounds under his belt and a couple of fights under his belt, and that's what he's done. So it's good preparation for going into a fight with Brook.
Well, last week, Billy Joe Saunders was forced to vacate his WBO title after being denied a boxing licence over a failed drug test. What's your whole take on this situation?
Well, I don't know. These drug tests seem to be happening. You know, it's not for me to comment, but they seem to be happening a little bit more and more, to be honest with you. It's not really for me to comment because I don't know enough on the subject. But it's, you know, it is a shame because, I mean, Billy was looking brilliant, making wonderful progress in his career. You know what I mean? You'd like to think the Golovkin and Canelo fights were just on the horizon, so it couldn't come at a more worse time. But hopefully Billy can get that sorted out and kick on with his career. He's reached the pinnacle in becoming a world champion, but I think Billy would agree with me. He wouldn't want to end his career with what he's done thus far without having a few meaningful fights such as them.
Well, failed drug test is a very grey area in boxing, as seen with Canelo in recent times. But where do you feel Billy Joe Saunders should go from here now?
Well, it's pretty obvious, really. He needs to sort out his licence and his ban and stuff like that. But he needs to just stay in the gym, keep ticking over, so that the minute the ban's up, or, you know, when he gets stripped of his belt, won't he? You know, yeah. So you know, the minute did he get a ban?
Yeah, I think it's going to be 6 months.
6 months. Well, you know, he's got to stay in the gym for them 6 months, and I try and set his date for somewhere around about 6.5 months. You know what I mean? So as soon as his ban's, you know, he don't want to have his ban lifted and then start his training camp. If he can start his training camp before, and then, you know, kick on with his career, and then there's no reason why he still can't fulfil everything that he wanted to do beforehand. Really, he's put the brakes on a little bit with the ban. But, you know, that's what's important, not to lose his discipline, stay in the gym, keep on top of things, and hopefully the ban will finish. And as soon as the ban's finished, if he can have a date, then he can kick on them.
Ricky, absolute pleasure for your time and effort today. Ricky Hatton for Fight Hub TV.
Pleasure, mate.